lights that they introduce, yes. I guess they wanted to get rid of the little projector because it was probably a tripping hazard. Something of it, maybe. It's almost 10:52 and a half.
Waiting on station. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 1.
Good morning, and welcome to Mount Vernon Unitarian Church. My name is Becky Brandt, and I'm a member of this congregation. Whether this is your first time here or you've been coming for many, many years, please know that you are welcome here, and we are glad to have you. We are continuing to navigate how best to offer services, and we are glad that we can provide this forum, both in person and virtually, to find comfort and recommit ourselves to the mission of supporting one another in our spiritual journeys, working for justice, caring for the earth, and building the common good. We gather to recommit ourselves to dismantling systems of oppression and injustice. It is good to be together. Look at these new additions we have. Fantastic. A very wonderful upgrade. I have a couple of announcements this morning, and they're kind of off the cuff, so I hope I don't mess them up. First of all, you're welcome to stop at the board table after church. We know we have an important congregational meeting next Sunday after the service, and they have information that they would love to share with anybody who has questions or would like more information. There's also items published on the web, and there's a Zoom meeting on Wednesday evening at 7 if you'd like to get further information. And a second announcement, there are some opportunities to get to know Reverend Dave. And if you haven't yet, or you'd like to, there are sign-up geniuses to have a little individual meeting with Reverend Dave. Wednesday at 2 o'clock, Tuesday evening at 7, the 26th of August, and Thursday evening at on the 28th is also another opportunity. Okay, those are sign-up opportunities if you'd like to have a little meet and greet with Reverend Dave. Now, please continue to look to your emails, phones, and the website for continued updates about worship and other church happenings. And know if you are ever in need, your church staff is an email or phone call away. I invite you now to take a deep breath with me as we enter into this time of worship.
Hello. I am the nearly Reverend, but not quite yet, Lora Powell-Haney, your Interim Director of Family Ministry. Our opening words and chalice lighting this morning are by the Reverend Gretchen Haley. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? In these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with these questions on repeat. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes and forwarded emails, as if the new zodiac, capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way, as if we could prepare, as if life had ever made any promises of making sense or turning out the way we thought, as if we are not also actors in this unfolding story. For this hour, we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves from the needing to know, the yearning to have it all already figured out, and also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, we make space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage, forged in the fire of our coming together and felt in the spirit that comes alive in this act of faith. That we believe still a new world is possible, that we are creating it already, here and now. Come, let us worship together. Will you rise in body or in spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 299 in your gray hymnal, Make Channels for the Streams of Love.
And join in the words of our covenant found in your hearts and in your order of service. Love is the teaching of this church. The quest of truth is its daily task, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve life in community, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. This is our covenant with each and with all. We come now to the offertory. Mount Vernon Unitarian Church continues to share the plate with committed organizations that you, our members, have chosen. During August, our offering is being shared with the Friends of Guest House. This nonprofit organization helps female nonviolent ex-offenders in Northern Virginia make the difficult transition from incarceration back to the community. They are determined to make a new life for themselves despite the tough obstacles they face in getting job interviews or getting hired, being accepted as tenants, and overcoming trauma and gaining job skills. Guest House, based in Alexandria, has had a remarkable success rate with only 10% of its graduates reoffending within a year, compared to 75% of ex-inmates reoffending nationwide. Today, the first offertory basket will come by, and then there will be a second basket with a little something extra. The second basket will come by with pieces of paper embedded with wildflower seeds. We'll be using those for a ritual later in the service, so please take one and a writing utensil as it's passed along. I invite this gathered community to offer whatever you are most comfortable with in spirit and financial generosity for the Friends of Guest House and the mission of our church community. Will the ushers please come forward at this time?
Thank you all. I know the reverse offering baskets, if you will, are still going around, but I would like to continue and invite you into a time of prayer and meditation. So often when we do a prayer or meditation, we're asked to sit still. So I'm going to invite you, if you would like to sit still as we do this meditation, that's fine. If what you need to do right now is move a little bit, I would invite you to stand or even just move your arms and things like that. But if you need to stand and move a little bit, we have aisles that you can do that. Just be careful if you're moving your arms that nobody gets whacked. We're not doing that today, so. I want to lead you through a specific kind of meditation called Tonglen. Together, we will work on transforming eco-anxiety, which is defined as extreme worry about current and future harm to the environment caused by human activity and climate change. That seems like a lot to try to address during a meditation, but we're going to be using a variation of a Tonglen meditation, a Tibetan Buddhist practice, which means giving and receiving. And the idea with Tonglen is that you Take in the suffering of the beings in the world around you, and you send back out compassion, peace, hope. So we're taking in something and transforming it as we send it back out. This is a practice created by Tequila Chupilapa. So as we often do with meditation, please begin by grounding yourself with the earth beneath you, our support. Sit comfortably or stand as you would like, straight but relaxed. Extend your awareness to how your body touches the seat or the floor, and how through all those layers, down under the floor of this building and the foundation, you are rooted to the earth. Be aware of how the earth holds you. You may be overwhelmed by the news. You may be mourning the loss of lives. You may be afraid of what the future brings. Eco-anxiety can manifest in many ways, including grief, anger, vulnerability, sadness, fear. However it manifests, whether in emotion, shape, or sensation, take a moment here, observe it without letting it wash you away. Acknowledge this anxiety, fear, grief with respect. It is a completely valid response to an existential threat. It means your inner warning system is working. And your emotions, all those feelings, come from a place of love and compassion for people, for wildlife, for nature. Take a breath slowly to honor this eco-anxiety with compassion. Whatever responses arise, whatever emotions come up, whatever fears show up, let it all flow out of you and into the earth. Notice your incoming breath, all that oxygen that keeps you alive comes from nature. All we need to survive, water, food, shelter, comes from outside of us. The very basis of our lives is interdependence with the earth. Rest in this awareness, trusting that you are indivisible from nature. Breathe in the earth's compassion. Breathe out gratitude. Visualize one place or being that is suffering from environmental and climate harm. It could be a person, a river, animals, your community. Bring to mind how environmental degradation and climate change affects them. If, when distress arises, focus on your desire to heal and to care for this entity you have visualized. From that place of caring and compassion, imagine yourself with the ability to draw away that suffering when you inhale, and to heal that suffering when you exhale. You can even imagine the suffering as a form of fog or vapor. As you inhale, you receive their suffering. As you exhale, you give them compassion. Remember, you are grounded in the earth. When you are ready, come back to this practice of giving and receiving. Give compassion. Receive suffering. Now, reverse the direction of giving and receiving. It is time for you to receive the earth's compassion and to offer your gratitude in return. So take a moment to hold the earth's compassion for you. Take one more slow breath in, and let it out with a sigh, like a soft breeze through tree leaves. Wiggle your fingers and toes. If your eyes have been closed, blink them open. Come back to this time and place. May this practice help you, and through you, may it heal the earth. Please remain seated and join in singing our meditative hymn, number 83 in your gray hymnal, Winds Be Still.
Storm clouds pass.
At this time, each of you are invited to come forward and light a candle of joy or sorrow.
This is like the best day ever. Gotta say. No, I know. That sounds facetious, doesn't it? But we've got jazz. I've got my tie-dye on. Y'all are here. As my sign says, DC statehood is racial justice. Just saying. I thought I would bring that in. It just felt like the right thing to do today. So there we go. We have an interactive wisdom story for you. And the fun part is that I'm going to read a thing, and then I want you to sing back to me. And the really fun part is that I feel like I'm losing my voice, and I need to teach you the bit of singing, so it'll be fine. I may make up a whole new tune just because. This is based on an environmental justice anthem by Rabbi Shoshana Mira Friedman. And you may know it already, so you might not need me. It's called "The Tide is Rising, and So Are We." And of course, now there's a picture book, which is really fun. I'm going to read you the extra stanzas, and then if you would respond with that sung line, I think it goes like this. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. That's probably pretty flat, isn't it? Okay. Sing it anyway and fix it for me. All right? So, you want to try it? No, I'm not going to be able to do it. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. This is good. All right, here we go. Everywhere the oceans rise, you and I will organize, standing up and speaking out. Climate justice is our shout. Ready? The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. Thank you. It's getting better. Here we go. As drops of water form a wave, we form a movement strong and brave to fight the greed that threatens life and build a world where all can thrive. You ready? The tide is rising, so are we. This is where we are called to be. The earth sings out, you're not alone. I'm here, my loves. It's time. Come home to beast and fungi, fish and tree, for all who live are family. The tide is rising, so are we. This is where we are called to be. The rain pours down, the fires blaze, in floods, in droughts, in hurricanes. The weather is the planet's voice. She's warning, make a better choice. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. The sun bestows its heat and might, a boundless energy and light. Our hearts burn too, with love and care, with strength to heal, renew, repair. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. The fights are hard. Our odds are slim. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. The hero is the one who tries. Our hearts may break, but still we rise. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. You want to do it one more time? I think we got it. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. Thank you. I promise I usually get the tune, and just not today. Well done. Well done. I thought long and hard about what to say today, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to say. I don't want to say. I want to do something. So I invite you to take up your seed paper and your writing implement at this time. If it went somewhere and you're not sure where it went, I think we have more, so just saying. And I want specifically for you to name something that is probably going to be a little bit difficult, and that's okay because we are here together. Because what I want you to do is to name a fear about the future, especially related to climate, environment, our dear planet. It could be a personal fear, a fear for all of humanity, a fear for family or friends. Be specific. I realize it's a tiny piece of paper to write on, so you might have to think about it for a minute. You could write, you could draw on that little piece of paper. And if it all seems too big or too much, create a name for it. Literally, name that fear. I call that big cloud of anxiety and fear that I have right now, I'm calling it Ichabod. So if there's just too much to write on that little piece of seed paper, give it a name and write that. And if you just can't come up with even a silly name, and you need to sit in silence with the fear or the anxiety, I would invite you then to sit in silence and place a hand over your heart and know that you are held by the earth and by this community. So we're going to have a moment here, a couple moments of silence for you to think and to write. And I'll call you back together here into this space with a chime. If you are still writing, just keep writing, that's fine. We have time. I'd like to call Zachary forward. Zachary, would you come take charge of our cart of dirt? Zachary's going to bring that cart of dirt down the central aisle here. And if you would pass your bits of seed paper to the center, we'll gather those, place them in the dirt. They are going to be planted here. We are literally going to transform your fears. Okay? as we're doing that, I want to lift up this. We acknowledge these fears. We have named them, we have given them form, and sometimes when you can give a name to that fear, you can get a little bit more control of it. You can give yourself a little more agency over it. Sometimes. Thank you, Zachary. Thank you, everyone. Here ends our ritual. May earth themselves transform these fears into hope and possibility through wind, rain, sun, snow, heat, cold, and time. So may it be. Blessed be. Blessed be. Blessed be. I wanted to talk about things we could do, but you know what? You all know. You all know reduce, recycle, reuse, refuse. You all know turn the water off as you're brushing your teeth. You all know combine as many errands so you only have to take one trip in the car or using public transportation. You all know and practice those things. So let's think bigger. That's not scary at all. Aren't I glad I took away your papers before this? I want to talk specifically about a book called Justice on Earth. It's been around for a while. You may have heard of it. It's a series of essays specifically around environment and faith. And this one essay just really resonated with me as I reread it. It's by Reverend Peggy Clark and Reverend Matthew McHale, and it's called Becoming Resilient. And I think it really resonated this time because just about everything I have been reading lately has talked about facing right now by becoming resilient in many different ways. I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean when we're talking about climate? How do we become resilient as we're experiencing more and more storms that are more and more extreme, and we have more wildfires, and it's hot and muggy, and what is going on? So here's some ideas about that, especially from a group called Movement Generation. That is a group of San Francisco Bay Area organizers. And they've identified 4 R's. They're not the ones you think. As necessary aspects of transformative justice work, especially, this applies to just about any justice work you might want to do. I'm kind of talking today about environmental stuff, so let's think of it that way. So resistance, I think we've gotten a little bit better at that, right? We're showing up, we have our placards, we're writing letters, we're saying, hey, hold on a second, I saw that. That's not right. So that's fighting against the destructive aspects of the dominant system. That comes up a lot, systems. Resilience is another R, building our capacities to survive, thrive, and navigate change. Restoring, that's one we don't hear a lot. Restoring living systems and ecological integrity, and then reimagining, and that's the one I really want to dig into. So we reimagine a different world, especially one not bound to capitalism. That's some work right there, folks, right? I think I could see everybody's going like, oh, gee, what? But it's possible because it's happening in so many places. It may be at the community level. The authors of this essay remind us of something that's happened years and years ago. In the 60s, the Black Panthers, probably, this is not something you may have known. I knew this, but the Black Panthers were both a political and justice organization. They also created the first free breakfasts for school children program. Massive program. Thanks to them, we now often have free breakfasts in school. Free medical clinics, drug and alcohol rehabilitation programs, classes on politics and economics, right? The right here, right now, clothing distributions, all kinds of things like that. Those things are possible at the community level. They're also possible through congregations like this one. Yep. The authors of this essay remind us that resilient congregations are fully engaged in their communities, their wider communities. Perhaps we could provide meeting place for community organizing, shelter after natural disasters, learning centers for the necessary process of, I love this, re-skilling. So again, relearning how to grow our own food, how to repair things, how to build naturally, how to maintain renewable energy systems, those larger things that maybe one by one we can kind of do, but together we absolutely can do. Must do, perhaps. Hello, bee. Here's a bee. I'm not sure what the bee thinks of this. Perhaps congregations like this one could even provide places to grow food, not just for this community, but for the wider community. I did go on a little walk after I read that essay around the grounds here. It's possible. We could do that. Perhaps we could host free sharing sites. So if we have a thing we don't need anymore, someone else might need. Perhaps we have a tool library. I don't know. Perhaps we barter services. We create that beautiful list of all the things we know how to do already and gather other things from other community members, what they know how to do. And we connect each other in that way. What does that circumvent? We get around capitalism that way, right? We shift away from an economic system, as the authors say, that relies on endless growth. Let's get deeper instead of more and more and more. Those are possibilities. Those are things to talk about. Those are ways to be in community and to use what we know together to save our planet and save ourselves. To teach our kids and have them teach us, because they know stuff. Yeah? Yeah, they do. Just a couple Sundays ago, they were telling me the difference between weather and climate. Love it. I did something the other day that I do often when I'm really wrestling with something and I have 8 different ways to approach it. I pulled out my tarot deck. I did. And I have a brand new one that I got myself. It's called The Lineages of Change by Adrienne Marie Brown. So it's beautiful, first of all. And second of all, it has quotes from so many beloved ancestors and activists, and every card has a corresponding plant that goes with it. And so I started thinking, like, what do I need to say? What do I need to feel? What do I need to do right now with all this Ichabod? And the card I pulled was the 10 of fire. The key words for that card are accomplishment, stress, excess activity, oppression, and burnout patterns. And I thought, okay then. And the write-up said, when we carry an immense load for a long time, we can take on the shape of holding. Can you imagine the shape? Tilted forward with a sore back and shoulders, unable to see beyond the burden, oppressed by our own choices. But remember that you have abundance. Remember that you have abundance. Remember that you have abundance. Learn to carry it sustainably. And the quote from a beloved ancestor, you use all the manure that has been thrown on you and you use it as fertilizer. From the brilliant Eartha Kitt. Love it. And the plant to go with this 10 of fire is echinacea. Healing, observing, strengthening, supporting. So we have a little echinacea tea here in front of the pulpit. And a few more packets if you're feeling the need. Know that climate justice, eco-anxiety are huge and often amorphous, and it feels impossible to do anything about it. And that is not true. Because together, and that's the important part, together, and we widen together, we move from me to we, and we can do anything. Anything. So remember our 4 R's. Pause and have a cup of echinacea tea. Breathe in the suffering. Breathe out compassion. And remember that earth holds you. Blessed be. Amen. And now, because this is the best day ever, will you rise in body or in spirit and sing together our closing hymn, number 1064, in your teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home.
Now please join in the words we use each week to extinguish our flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our closing words are a poem by Reverend Alex Klingenberg called Crow's Message. Do not be afraid. You couldn't be less alone. You are everything. Every white-bellied squirrel leaping, every drum beat, every hoof fall, every water droplet, every leaf quivering, you are a map seen from space. Just write it down and speak it aloud. Don't censor yourself. Don't judge yourself by human standards. You are not human. You are tree being. Mud woman, sky woman, poet, earth speaker, mountain, echo of God.
As you sit and listen to our final hymn, our final song, or go out and get your coffee, I wanted to say a couple things. We're going to be doing Sunny, which I think will sound familiar to many of you, although arranged for jazz here. And it was written by a man named Bobby Hebb. And we think of it as a kind of very upbeat song, and it turns out it was, but it was written in a time of great tragedy in his personal life. His brother had recently died, and he wrote this shortly after the assassination of JFK. So think about that song. It's about resilience and recovery from difficult times. And the other thing I want to say is that we're going to be joined by Yvonne on vocals for this.
Yesterday my life was filled with rain. Sunny, you smiled at me and really eased the pain. Now the dark days are done and the bright days are here. My sunny one shines so sincere. Sunny one so true, I love you. Sunny, thank you for the sunshine bouquet. Sunny, thank you for the love you've brought my way. You gave to me your all and all. Now I feel 10 feet tall. Sunny, one so true, I love you. Filled with rain. And if you know, sing along, Sonny. You smile at me and really ease the pain. Now the dark days are done and bright days are gone. Sunny sunshine, so sincere. Oh, Sonny, one so true. I love you. I love you. Should we all take a bow, Ben?